We're back to talk more Dresden Files today. Zach has continued to work his way through these books, and he's ready to give his book blast spoiler-light reaction to number 11, Turncoat, today. It's one I really enjoyed. Zach, thoughts?
It was okay.
It was okay, he says.
Yes, and I have... Okay.
He has thoughts. Lay them on us. And by the way, people, we're fantasy for the ages. You probably know that if you found this, if you like his thoughts, if you disagree with his thoughts, if we entertained you at all, please remember to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so. Lay those thoughts on us, Zach.
So hear me out. There were a couple of things. This was a book of moments to me.
Okay.
The general course of the story was fine. And it didn't really go too far into the things that I don't like about the series or the things that I do like about the series, save for that there were moments that were great.
There's some big little
There
reveals.
weren't a lot of like little moments that sucked, but there were a good amount of little moments that were pretty solid. And I can't spoil all of them or any of them, but there was a new way to have a new, bigger, badder entity, and so it's like we keep power scaling what are the threats of the world.
Yes,
which was, I liked this one and the implications some of that had. There was a really cool moment, a couple really cool moments really, but about a place that will become bigger later even, but we've seen this place before, we'll see it again, but a really cool little moment here with that. There was a really cool moment right near the end. And most of the end sequence wasn't really a surprise to me. I called it like the moment we met a character. I was like, that one. That one.
he kind of is
it's that one.
Yeah.
But
the flurry of the ending is pretty intense.
And outsmarting and how things happened, I was like, I'm not surprised. I'm not this, that, or whatever. I didn't care that much about this specific flurry, how it went down. This was one of those action sequences where I was like, I expect it. It's cool. It's fine. I'm not too sold on this one in particular. One of the earlier flurries of action sequence that wasn't the very, very end was pretty cool. The one at the very, very end, I was like, it's okay. But the really soft moment right at the end of that action sequence, that is one of the moments of highlight in this book.
Yeah.
That is probably the best moment in this book.
Okay. And we have a character that we've had since book 1 that is a primary character of this book, has not been a primary of all the books up to this point. But that's a powerful aspect of this story. That definitely is one of the things that makes it shine.
Moment wasn't... Yeah. This wasn't a redemption story for that character or a redemption story for
never
Harry
really
Dresden.
To be redeemed. Never really did.
But it was an acknowledgement of not quite an apology, not quite a redemption, but a certain growth to Harry that isn't his power scaling or his position, but his personhood and being a good person and having that acknowledgement in there in a manner that was not him white knighting, saving the damsel in distress, but acknowledging all the previous books as well as being proof that Harry is not bad.
I feel like I need to angle myself on my backdrop this time.
Just so that it's not poking out your head. I liked you with the little center horns.
There is, at the very end of the book, a final result of what they learned was really going on. That makes sense.
It makes sense.
It wasn't making sense before, but it's like, oh man, poor
I'm pretty
Harry.
sure I more or less called it in one of the previous talks that we did, where I was like, this makes no sense.
And you're right. And it wasn't supposed to. And so this was like, aha.
It was forced.
Yeah.
And again, to me, it's one of those things where I go, Harry's supposed to be really, really like clever and a detective and see these things, but he didn't for a long time. But then I also go, but Harry's human.
Yes.
And Harry wants these things and these connections, and he doesn't want them not to be real.
Yeah. So this story, it has value on its own. It advances the plot in some key ways, but there's some significant tie-in to where the whole story is going. And yeah, it's pretty significant. Its impact doesn't tie in so much into just the next book, but what's coming beyond.
And it really does, one of those key moments that I did mention already from what I have read has been huge, and I'm pretty sure with the couple books I've still got left will be pivotal.
There were some severely entertaining moments at Harry's place every time he'd come back.
A good Mouse. Mouse is the best.
I know. Mouse was great. I was like, guys, stop. Yeah. I had some chuckles there. All right. Anything else you'd want to say about this one?
I didn't mention and highlight anything to do with a certain court or negative aspects to a character that we like there. But there are other implications going on beyond just the things I highlighted. And this book does a good job, I think, of planting more seeds rather than just living off of the payoffs from previous books.
Yeah.
We plant more seeds to give us payoffs later on. This is kind of a maintenance book to let us have more room to plant and then build to other resolutions and conclusions later.
Unlike the next book. But we'll have to wait and talk about that another time. So thanks for your thoughts on that, Zach. I'm glad you mostly appreciated this book and definitely had some spots you really thought were good. I can work with that. And we'll be back for more another time. But that's where we'll leave you today. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.